Hello, bodybuilding fans, and welcome to another episode of Big Bad Bodybuilding. I'm your host, Zach Barnard, and this week we are here at Destination Dallas, home of Gasp and Better Bodies. With me, as always, Dennis the Big Bad Wolf. We want to thank first Michael Johansson for allowing us to film here at the headquarters. Also let you know this episode is sponsored by Dennis's new supplement line, Nutrition Wolf. Check it out at nutritionwolf.com for all of the new product drop dates and information released about the line. Now I'm going to kick it over to Dennis. Dennis, why don't you introduce our special guest?
Yes, so welcome everyone. We are really amazed having a podcast episode here at the Destination Dallas Gasp headquarters. And our guest today is brand new 212 Olympia Champion Keone Pearson. Welcome to the show, my friend.
What's up, Dennis? Thank you for having me, man. I saw you just started the podcast recently, and thank you for having me on here at my headquarters. What used to be my backyard will always be my home. So thank you for allowing me to be on this podcast with you.
Absolutely. We're glad you're agreed on coming on the show, and this is exciting for us having a champ here next to us, and I'm excited. So let's start, I would say.
Yeah, it is a special weekend here at Gasp and Better Bodies. Keone, why don't you tell us a little bit about this weekend, what it's meant to you, and had a little bit of a celebration, huh?
Yeah, man. So we had a little celebration. I'm home base from Las Vegas, so I came down here Thursday. We did a ceremony for me. As you guys can see in the background, got my jersey, something I always manifested since day one when I moved here. When they started hanging up the jerseys, I always said my jersey will be up there one day. I said it every single prep. Obviously the preps didn't happen, but it happened last year, 23 Olympia, and now I plan on having at least 5 more up there. And so we celebrated that. So thank you for everyone that came. And then also today, which is the day of this podcast, we did a all-star seminar. So people came, asked us questions, and we answered them truthfully. And yeah, but this weekend has been amazing to celebrate me, but not just me, but Gasp and Better Bodies and the whole community come together. So good times.
So congratulations, first of all, on your 212 Olympia championship. Let's get into it. Obviously, when you came out, everybody pretty much knew it was going to be between you and Shaun Clarida. Why don't you tell us a little about you guys' relationship? Okay. Both pre-Olympia, and has that changed or changed at all since your Olympia win?
I met Shaun when I won New York Pro my rookie season, and I took a picture. I was fanboying over him. I was about like 177 pounds.
This is your classic days.
Yeah, I forgot what Shaun was in 2019, but he's competing around 180s now. I think he was still like in the 160s when he was competing on stage. So he was still like he was like right there before he won. And I met him then. I used to message him a lot on Instagram. I used to tag him on my stuff back then, and I was in classic days because I looked up to his training. And then once I got into 212 and I signed with Gasp in 2020, we done a couple of videos. We hung out outside the gym. Cool guy. So I'd say we're pretty cool. Far as like post-Olympia with everything, I mean, he's a great champion. He gave me the respect that I earned from everyone, and he been nothing but nice and motivating, and we're still cool to this day. But nothing changed since the Olympia. I think now is I could tell he's more focused. Obviously, when you were the champion, you want it back. You don't want to lose it. And I think the tension in the gym is probably a little bit different just because now he's trying to get this title back. I'm trying to keep it. But outside of the gym, we're cool, and he's a good guy.
That's good to hear. Good to hear that you guys are close. I was just kind of wondering how that went with the title, changing hands and everything. So that's good to know. Dennis, I know when the Olympia and the 212 walked out, I was back home. You were in Vegas. We were texting back and forth kind of what we were seeing. When you saw Keone and Shaun came out, did you instantly know it was going to be a battle? And what was your first impression of Keone when he came out?
Well, of course. I mean, Shaun and Keone are two different types of physiques, and they're totally different structured. I thought I had Shaun in the prejudging because of the overall muscle quality and size, because he's a short guy, and he's like a small Ronnie Coleman. You definitely can say that. But Keone is has better structure, better lines, and I like him more, right? So, and I think, it was a battle. Like it's two different types of bodybuilders, and it's always not easy to judge such a high quality athlete. So, and well, I would say it was probably necessary to make some changes in that division because, with classic look, structure, I think that's the way to go. And then with Keone, we're going to see the next few years how far it's going to go. And I think that's still going to be a battle between Shaun and Keone for the next few years. But I think that's going to be some change in 212 for the future, because we have a champion who is very well structured, more classic lines and all of that, and I think that's a good thing for bodybuilding.
Keone, do you see that Shaun being your main competition and basically your only, well, not your only, obviously there's a lot of good guys in the classes, but do you see it being you guys for the few years to come?
Yeah, I see like a Kai Green and a Phil Heath type deal,
but on better terms, correct?
Yeah, on better terms. No fighting on stage and
Okay.
bumping shoulders and stuff like that, for sure. But I definitely see me and Shaun's a few years to come. I mean, he's pretty much getting close to his tail end of his career. I feel like I'm just getting started. I'm only 28 years old, so I have a long time. I have much longer to go than he does. So I do see him another 2-3 years, me and him at the top fighting, for sure.
Dennis, what do you see? I know in the seminar, Jose had asked this earlier, but what do you see? What does Keone need to do to retain his title if Shaun were to make? And I don't even know what changes Shaun makes, right? We've already discussed this on other podcasts. But what do you think? I mean, obviously with this package, he's the champion. Is he just repeating this look that Keone brought to the stage over and over, or what does he need to do to ensure that he keeps the title?
I think it's everything what he does is the right thing. He just needs to keep going. I mean, he got everything a champion needs to keep the title for a long time. Of course, the condition is always a major point, and you always can work on that. And I think Keone knows that he can be much drier, of course. But like I said, it's nothing special he needs to do. So he just keep growing. He still has some room. I think you're weighing in at like 199, right?
199.
Yeah. So hey, 13 pounds. It's a lot of muscle, So he got room, and I think there's nothing he should change or something. Just keep rolling.
Keone, do you feel that putting that extra weight all the way up to the cap is the way to go? Is that your goal, or do you think
it's not
you like where you're at right now?
No, it's not necessary. I mean,
Right.
I'm kind of pretty considered one of the bigger 212 guys in the lineup. If you look back at the pictures, like I said, that's why I said earlier, I'm just running my race. I'm not trying to rush to put all this size on. My 2 pounds look like 10 on stage. There's no point in me trying to rush and try to go ahead and be capped up so early. I'm not trying to rush to go to open bodybuilding no time soon. Just want to make that clear before we get on that subject. I know we probably will, but I just want to take it slow by slow. Like I said, I was 199, so I'd be happy if I can compete at 203, 204 next year, and just slowly start creeping up.
I think that's a great point, because Dennis and I were actually talking about that. I don't even remember who we were talking about earlier, about how you said the muscle, when you grow it slower, it's more quality.
Exactly.
Right? Versus you were with the guy that you were working with who just blew up really fast, and you felt like it was a different look.
Yeah, you've seen in back in the days, if the athletes like blew up in 1 or 2 years, added like 30, 40 pounds of muscle, it didn't actually look better than before because of the quality. All the fibers are, still undeveloped. So if you gaining mass too fast, it's also not good. So that's a good thing for Keone. So he got time, so he doesn't need to rush, and that's a good thing.
It's funny you said that, because that's what I experienced in my 212 career. I got a lot of shit about conditioning. I mean, people got to realize I started I did my last Olympia in 2019. I was 178 when my coach at the time, PJ, said, he was like, listen, you're not going to be he told me straight up. He was like, you're not going to be a classic physique Mr. Olympia. You need to move up. He told me that right after the Olympia. And I was like, damn. So you want me to go to 212?
That's probably tough to hear, huh?
It was very tough because, I mean, I got fourth, so I was thinking my first Olympia, I was thinking, I know I can push. I know I can push up there with Breon and them. I know I could. If I at least give me one more year. But he persuaded me, like, you got to go to 212. Like, that's where you at. Like, okay. And I competed at 202 12 months later on stage. So what I'm getting at was I put on a lot of muscle very fast, and it wasn't conditioned. And it took me a while for my body to actually catch up to actually let that muscle marinate and condition. And that's why 2022, where I placed 6th, that was somehow the year where the muscle actually settled. And then that's when it was like, okay, we're going to take it nice and slow.
Right.
You know, because it started off really fast. So I just wanted to throw that in and let people know that, you know, when you grow too fast,
it's not necessarily a great thing.
It's not a great thing. It's cool. It's like, damn, you can do that, but it's not the right thing to do.
Yeah. I agree on that, because we've seen a lot of athletes who just improved tremendously,
Right.
but actually didn't get better.
Right.
You know, so yeah.
Keone, you actually beat me to my next question, or a question I had here in a minute. And it was going to be, was the goal when you started out to kind of master the classic division? Because when you came on the scene, everybody was like, this is the physique we want in classic division. And you know, everybody was kind of hailing you as like more of a Chris Bumstead kind of reign once you got prepared, right? And a lot of people wanted to see that. But as you mentioned, you kind of outgrew that class, you know, pretty fast. And I mean, do you feel that classic just would have held you back? I mean, you weren't going to be able to stay in that division very long.
Yeah, eventually it was. I mean, I was already struggling to make weight my first year as classic. And my coach was like, you know, trying to struggle 2 more years in classic, it's going to be hard for you to make those needed improvements. So that's why we just moved up right away.
Yeah,
I don't recommend everybody to do that, because I don't think everybody can put on that much tissue in a short amount of time. My genetics are just a little bit different from most people. But, yeah, I just knew classic. I knew I wasn't going to be that long.
I mean, I think it's the frame. I mean, you know, obviously you have the small waist, but your joints, you're just you're dense, right? Muscle. And I think classic, you know, is for a guy like Chris who has longer limbs, it's just a different look, a different flow. So, I mean, you definitely made the right decision. I know when you trained here, were you here for a year before you moved to Vegas?
Yeah, I was here for about 2.5 years.
Oh, 2.5. Okay. Yeah. Do you feel like, can you give us a little bit a feeling of like what it's like training here versus Vegas and you know, whatever gym it may be in Vegas? Can you kind of give us an idea of what the difference is and how you feel when you come train here versus the vibe like in Vegas?
I mean, both vibes are great. I mean, I moved here because of Gaspin Better Bodies. I wanted to be close to MJ. I wanted to do more content with Gaspin. I wanted to be one of those guys where people can Google Keone Pearson and you see a fuck ton of load of videos on YouTube on the channel. And that was my whole goal. And that's pretty much what we kind of did. But the environment here is great. I mean, I'm around Branch and Johnny, and I started training with them at Metroflex, and I trained with Brian at Metroflex. He was my trainer, and damn, that shit was tough.
How often do you come back? Like, you come back regularly? I mean, you're in Vegas, though, right? That's your home.
Yeah. I come here every blue moon when we, like, do stuff like this. But this offseason, I want to come show more face and do more things, like maybe a podcast in here again, or, like, you know, just train and do footage. But like I said, the environment difference between here and Vegas is, you know, when you got Branch and Johnny around you every time when you train, you have no choice but to have a good fucking workout. Yeah. There's a lot of bad days where I was like, fuck, I don't feel like training. And I would train and Branch would come yell at me, just start cussing at me, yelling at me, and you can't help but to have a good session. But so the environment here was next level. And Dragons is pretty dope too. I'm around Flex Lewis a lot, and obviously he was a champion for a while, and so he always gives me feedback and always checking on me and motivating me and pushing me. So I appreciate Flex Lewis for that. So the environment at Dragons is pretty well. And now that the Olympia is there, I have to stay there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have to stay there.
We talked about
it's
that.
It's convenient.
It was the right choice.
It was the right choice. So I'll be there for a couple more years.
All right, good to know. So we got the Arnold coming up.
Yeah.
ROC is coming up. I don't know if you're not going to be able to make it this year. But I did want to touch on that. Dennis, we haven't had the 212 division at the Arnold Classic since 2018. Can you give us, or do you have any insight on why they got rid of that? And do you feel like it belongs in the event?
I mean, it's also a great division, right? I mean, why should you kick this out? You know, I mean, why are you leaving it out? So I don't understand, but I think it should be up there. Yeah, all of the divisions. But you know, Arnold Classic is something different, you know, compared to Olympia. So it's an invitational contest, and you know, the promoters decide what they want to see, what they want to put on, you know, what kind of show, what kind of divisions, and yeah, it's up to them. But I don't agree with that. I think all divisions should be up there because I mean, there's no difference, right, between a champion and an open class or 212. I mean, they all work hard. It's just maybe the weight and you know, because they're taller guys, you know. So I mean, I mean, I'm probably waiting right now 212, 215, you know. So and I'm in my worst condition, you know. So if I'm at my best, I'll be 260 at least. So I mean, there's no difference in you know what weight classes you compete. You know, we all working hard. So yeah.
Keone, would you like to see it back in the Arnold? And if you did, would you do it now that you're the Mr. Olympia champion?
200% I would.
You would do it?
Yeah, it'd be insane if I don't.
Okay.
Of course.
So you would, even winning the title, you would prep, turn right around, and
200%.
200%.
I already told my girlfriend and my coach that if they have 212, I'm going to prep. It's at a weird time because I already prepped for a while for the Olympia, and then I have like I guess like a little break, let the body, you know, relax and then get back into the prep. Because it is a very weird time, but I definitely would at least once or twice. I mean, you have to. It's the Arnold Classic, and my dream is always to be an Arnold champ, whether it's open or 212, as always. And I think I was having this talk with my close buddy Darren. He just moved up to 212 from Classic. I said if we have more Classic physique competitors that move up, that's around my height, that's struggling to make weight, we can try to push to have more 212 shows, and we can be in the Arnold. And then they can see that, okay, 212 is very competitive, and it is. And it's a lot of aesthetic freaks out there, and it seems like that's where they're going to. So I feel like the more of us in the division, they can really open that invitation again to have 212 in the Arnold Classic, and I truly think they will eventually.
All right, well, here's the $1 million question. You knew it was coming, and this is all I'll ask, and we'll move on. Let's say this year goes as planned.
Yeah.
Let's say, is your only plan right now is to do the Olympia this year? Okay, let's say you win again, 2024 champion. If you get an invite in 2025 to the Open, would you jump in that?
For the Olympia or for like
the Arnold?
Oh, for the Arnold?
After having won 2 Olympia 212. Not saying that you're leaving the 212, but you know a lot of these guys have had success going into the Open. Do you think by that time you would be ready to jump in there, at least at the Arnold, and give it a go with Open?
I probably would. I wouldn't have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have nothing to lose. I had this talk with Jose yesterday, and I know people like to ask me about the Open question, and I was like, I want to secure that second title. I was going to do some more shows this year, didn't do the Olympia again, but I was like, I need to focus on the Olympia. I want to establish, you know, winning the first one is amazing, it's great, but to really make motherfuckers believe in you, I'm believing myself, first of all. I'm doing it for me. But second, for other people to really believe in you, you got to win that shit again. You know, that's not a fluke. It's no luck. And that's what I'm going to do is going to win it again.
Well, yeah, Shaun's not going to take any days off. He's coming for you.
No, and I'm working. That's pushing me. You know, seeing him grind on Instagram, social media and stuff, that's pushing me to stay on track every single day. And how I train every day, I train like I didn't even win this. And I didn't, you know, that's how I look at it. And so, everything goes right for this year, then I may jump into an Open show just for shits and giggles.
Nice.
And then come right back down to the 212 prep. But it's not 100%. It's ideal.
Hypothetical.
It makes sense, too,
right.
You know.
Good. I appreciate your honesty. Here's a topic I'd like to get both of you guys' opinion on. From 1974 to 1979, the Mr. Olympia had an overall pose down for the title at the Olympia between the under 200, then it was under 200, and the over 200 champion. Now, most of people that know their bodybuilding history know this was won by Arnold most of the time, Arnold Franco Colombo. But in the later 70s, Robbie Robinson would win the over 200, and but he actually got beaten by Frank Zane in the under 200. So a lot of people say this is a ridiculous idea because, the bigger guys are always going to win. Well, I know things have changed, but Frank Zane did, I don't know what he weighed, 185 or something.
Crazy.
But at that time, I realized the criteria has changed. But my point being that it is possible, and with what Derek has done and Hottie, obviously these guys are coming up from the lower division to win the title. So my question, and Dennis, so you can answer first: should they bring something like this back, being the 212 champion and the Open champion, for an overall pose down? If anything, for the fans. I mean, I think all of us would love to see it. I would love to see you get up there. He was, like I said, between I think when, for instance, when Flex was competing, I don't know what he capped out on, but say that's the next day, he's got another 24 hours to carb up, right? But I mean, who wouldn't have loved to seen that,
Of course,
Flex
I'm
versus,
on it with you. This is very interesting, and there's going to be a lot of hype going through that, and who doesn't want to see the open class champion, Mr. Olympia, and 212 being compared? Who is the better man? Who is the better man, right? So,
awesome.
I mean, why not? It's always it's still a show, right? I mean, there's a contest and a show, so you have to put something on for the fans, and I think that will be a great idea. I don't know if the athlete's gonna like it. So you're gonna add probably, I don't know, maybe do it the same day or later.
Yeah, I don't know logistics of how that would work.
Exactly. So, but if there will be a chance for a 212 champion to kind of carb up for another day or so, just to
Well, we got the man right here. What do you think?
Go for
is this ridiculous idea?
No, I don't
win. That's gonna be very interesting.
I don't think it's ridiculous at all. I mean, plus we still the person that won. You still get to celebrate your win. You still have that title, but just to know you can go head to toe with me against Derek Lunsford overall. We can really see why I stack up next to these open guys.
It would be amazing.
It'd be amazing. I mean, even if they decide to do top 5 212 versus the top 5 open,
Oh, now we're getting crazy, man.
I'm just saying. I mean, something, but
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was telling my girlfriend, I really do wish, when you was competing, where they had, I think it was the battle round where you can call them out and you can hit a pose. I do wish they can.
I think that was cool.
That was pretty cool.
I do wish they could bring that back.
But nobody from that era who was competing at that Olympias liked that.
They didn't like it. Yeah,
I
know Ronnie didn't like it when he got beat by Gustavo Bedell and the most muscular. Dude, fans, but how many times have you seen that clip?
Yes,
I mean,
but it
love
was only for the fans, and I think it was amazing. But yeah, like I said, athlete and the fan are two different things, But it was great. It was actually great.
IFBB, you heard it here. Keone wants the overall pose down.
Yeah.
So let's bring it back. He's going to win it. He's going to win it again, and then we're going to get the overall pose down. So, all right, you heard it here first. Keone, you recently signed this new contract with Yamamoto Nutrition.
Yes.
Dennis and I were actually very sad to hear that because Dennis is launching his new line, Nutrition Wolf, at the Arnold Classic, and we actually had a substantial contract we were going to offer you today, but Yamamoto beat us to it. Kidding.
Too bad.
We're not quite there yet. But in all seriousness, what does something like that do for you? Stress levels and your ability just to focus on bodybuilding now.
Feels amazing. I mean, when you have that support behind your back, that's the best thing ever in bodybuilding. Bodybuilding is a very lonely sport anyway. It's a very selfish sport. So when you have someone like Gaspin Yamamoto behind your back, someone that's for you, that loves freaking bodybuilding just as much as you, it just sets you up for success, and that's how I feel signing with Yamamoto. They're all about bodybuilding. They're very old school when it comes to deliverables, what they want in their athletes as far as performance-wise and just doing well. And I feel like that's how it was kind of back in the day. These guys performed well and they had these big contracts, and Yamamoto's so great.
Let me ask you, I know Flex Lewis was signed. Is he still with Yamamoto?
No, not anymore.
Okay. I was wondering if he had anything to do with facilitating that deal or helping you out. That's awesome that they got you. Now, they're primarily international, correct? So
yes.
That's going to give you more opportunities to travel, grow your fan base overseas. That's fantastic. Good deal. All right. Dennis, tell us, I know the contracts were bigger, when we've talked about this on prior podcasts. Tell me how important that is, you think, for an athlete to have a big sponsor and contract like that as far as your overall success in the sport.
Look, this is the ground, that kind of gives you relief that you're all set, you're good to go. Whatever you do, you're focused on training and prep and, on your career. If, you have that kind of support, supplement company is always a big deal. Back in the days, of course, there were more money in it. The contracts were a lot bigger than today. But that was the most important thing, most of the greatest bodybuilders, they all had, great company behind them, as a support. There were, of course, also some magazine deals and clothing deals, but supplement lines, they were, on the hunt, to get the best they could get. So it was the same with me back then with BSN. There were so many young athletes, but they chose me. There was like they were talking about Phil Heath, signing all of these guys, but they decided to sign me, and that was amazing, of course. And that was making the round. Everybody kind of knew what I was making a month or a year, whatever. I don't know even how to get that, but but it was always fun. But back in the days, there was completely a different story what we have today. So today you can make more money from social media, all of that, So, but still, I'm happy to hear that big companies like Yamamoto signing champions, and that's great support you can, you should have, But it's not always the deal, but yeah.
Let me ask you a question, Dennis. Like on these deals back in the day, was there much negotiating with these things, or just like did they just bring a number and you're like, hell yeah, I'll take that? Or was there any back and forth? I mean, I'm curious. We won't get into Keone's business, but I know you a little bit better, so hey,
he's done.
Yeah, you're
right.
done.
In the beginning, so I'll tell you this: I came home from China when I won my overall title, World Championships, and that was like I didn't apply for the pro card, but everybody knew that's I'll be the next pro, right? So as I came home, I had an email already from a supplement line. There was Nutrix back then. There was an offer. So, and it was a good offer. And I said right away, yes, I'm that fits.
Did all your deals work out that easy?
Yeah, no. Especially this one. And he was like, really? Okay, I'll give you 1,000 euros more. Because we like you, and you just said
because
yes.
You didn't argue with them.
I
don't know that happens every day.
Yeah, I mean that was surprising, but I was okay with the amount they offered me, right? So the next time that was already different. Of course, it was going back and forth because you know your word, what's what you're planning, where the everything is going, So you're more in the business, right? So you've been around, you know your worth, and if you keep finishing, keep placing in the top 5, top 6, top 10 at the Olympia, this is what they needed back then. So even in my country, I don't know what they put it in today, but back then I needed to be at every Olympia every year. I need to qualify, and that was the deal. As long as I competed at Olympia, everything was good.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Is that how yours is structured?
Ain't nothing like that no more. I don't want to hear that. There ain't nothing like that no more.
Okay.
Later on, there was like you have to do top 10, you have to do top 5, and also later on we added some bonuses.
Okay.
Winning a show,
like nice.
top 5 and all of that. That was more.
You haven't seen those like that?
Yeah, bonuses and stuff. That stuff still exists, but I guess telling you you need to go to the Olympia, you need to place this. Yeah. I don't really hear anything about that no more.
Okay.
Stuff is so much different.
In the country.
I think placings in the shows were bigger, more important back then. Everybody kind of knows now it is the social media and just your presence.
Social media.
Are you posting on YouTube?
Yeah.
Are you visible? That's more important than where you place.
Well, on YouTube, nothing back then, So everything we did was for the company, So they will send a photographer, videographer, everyone, so just to kind of follow us. Now you do it by yourself and send it to your sponsor. So
or you got to make the post on your own.
Yeah, right. So
magazines.
A lot has changed.
No more.
All right, let's have a little fun now. I'm going to introduce a new segment, and Dennis, you don't even know about this. It's a new segment to the Big Bad Bodybuilding Podcast. We're going to call it Meathead Trivia. All right? Now, this is going to be an alternating question game in which Dennis and our guests attempt to answer questions related to bodybuilding history and other topics linked to our special guest. So today, we're going to do history of the 212 division and other sub 5'7" bodybuilders, all right? Now, we're going to go back and forth. Keone's going to start us off. If we get a correct answer, we're going to hear, there we go.
Okay.
And a wrong answer, we're going to get a, there we go. All right. And then another person will get a chance to answer. So I'll tell you right now, if you don't know your history, you got to learn, man, because you are part of the sport now and you're a legacy and a champion because you're going to be on some of these questions one day.
Let's see.
All right, let's see how Keone does. And Dennis, you've been around, so you should know some of these too, all right?
Man.
All right, let's start off with Keone.
We'll see how good.
In the IFBB 202 Olympia division started in 2008. I got to make sure you don't cheat here. Who is the champion of this contest who actually competed in the recent 2023 212 Masters Olympia?
Was it Derek Henry?
Like one more shot. You're close.
No, I said his name wrong, did I? Shit.
You know what? We're going to give it to him.
It's David. Sorry. My bad, David.
No, that's good. You got it. All right, 1 point.
Awesome.
I'm impressed. All right.
Yeah,
he's still competing, man. Isn't that wild?
I did Olympia with him. That's
You know, I saw the pictures and Hottie looked really good. I had David. I thought he looked amazing. I don't know if y'all saw it. It was in where was that they held that? The Masters Olympia not too long ago.
Romania?
Yeah, somewhere like that.
Yeah.
David looked really good. I thought he easily could have won that contest, the 212. So good for him. All right, Keone's up 1. Dennis, other than Olympia champions Derek Lunsford and Hottie Chupin, name me one 212 bodybuilder who has won an IFBB Open men's contest at any point in his career.
Ooh.
So somebody typically in the 212, but he's won an Open. And it could have been post him joining the 212 or before he was a 212 competitor.
I mean, Lee Priest wasn't 212 competitor.
Yeah, they didn't have that division back then.
Yeah, so... did Flex win?
He never did one.
No, right?
Never did an Open. All right.
I think, he was competing in Spain in the Open. But he never won it.
No, he
was
didn't win
4th or 5th or so.
All right, we're getting a buzz. Keone.
So what's the question again one more time?
Okay, one more time, I'll repeat it. Other than Olympia champions Derek Lunsford and Hottie Chupin, name me one 212 bodybuilder who has won an IFBB Open men's contest at any point in his career.
William Bonac?
Possible, huh?
I mean, he was 212 and he had one and showing Open.
Yeah.
Jose Raymond, maybe?
That's good. We'll take that answer.
Who was it?
All right.
Who was the
So I
answer?
had Shaun won Clarida. Remember he won, I think it was a legacy
Yeah. He
last
did,
year.
He did.
I'm going to have to check you on the Bonac because I know he was a former 212.
He was, yeah.
He was. He
What-
came from the
which
212.
Which Open show did he win?
He won in Russia one.
He won
show.
in Russia. Okay.
Yeah,
That
well, he been to the Bonac. I mean, he-
17 or so.
David Henry actually also won a pro. They used to have a thing called in 2015 called the Wild Card Olympia
Wild
Showdown.
card, yes, that was.
It was like a last
day
shot to get
before,
the
yeah, the day before Olympia.
Okay,
yes,
and David,
I remember
David
that.
won that, and then Hide actually won Open show. Like back in the day before there was 212.
Right,
so,
right.
all right, Keone's up 2. All right, now Keone, you're going to start us. This is your sheer question right here. All right, what 2015 212 Arnold Classic champion and native Bostonian is the only bodybuilder in history to win both the NPC Nationals and USA titles in 3 different divisions?
2015 Arnold Champion 212. I don't even know who won.
Yeah,
2015.
yeah, that's tough, man. It's going back a little bit before you were on the scene.
Yeah, I didn't start following 212 till like.
I'm going to read one
Before
more
I
time,
got
and
it-
then we're going to go over to
let's
Dennis.
try one more time.
2015, 212 Arnold champ. Okay, in 2015, native Bostonian, and is the only bodybuilder in history to win the NPC Nationals and USA titles in 3 different divisions.
Jose Raymond.
All right. Well, you didn't let me buzz
I
him.
almost said
Yeah.
him. I almost said him, but
Okay, so we talked
Almost
about
said
that
it.
in the
We got it, though.
seminar today. Jose actually refused his pro card like 7 or 8 times.
7 times,
as an
yeah.
amateur, and he explained that today, which was really good. That he had to grow into the class because when he qualified, he was like 160, 100 something pounds because of his
Insane.
height. And, so he refused, and finally he felt like he was big enough. Is actually when they came out with I guess he said it was the 210 division originally. And he came out and was obviously very successful and almost won the title several times. All right, is that 2-1? All right, Dennis, was that your first answer? We're going to give you that one. All right, and it's your turn. Okay. All right, here we go. What former Mr. Olympia 212 champion also won the last 212 Arnold Classic? That was the last year they had it. In the same year. So he won the last Arnold Classic and the 212 Olympia in the same year.
Come out.
There you go. Very good. All right, we're all tied up 2-2. I think we've got 2 more questions. All right, this one's tough, man. I'm not gonna lie. I knew this one because I'm kind of a bodybuilding history dork.
Let's see.
You're better than us.
If you get this one, I'll be very impressed. All right. This legendary bodybuilder, nicknamed the original Giant Killer, competed in 4 different decades and was also inducted into the IFBB Hall of Fame in 2009, placing as high as 5th in the Mr. Olympia despite his 5'2" frame.
Is it Palumbo? No, not Palumbo. I said his name wrong. This is terrible. I know who it is too.
Do you? I don't know.
I know who the original Giant Killer is.
If he was,
just give it to Dennis. Go ahead.
Well, let's see if he can.
I can't think of the name. It's on the tip of my tongue.
You know? Have any idea? All right, we're gonna miss it. All right, Danny Padilla.
Yes, this is
from New York.
Terrible.
Wow, yeah, you familiar with him?
Yeah,
5'2", man. He was a legend.
Yes, yeah.
4 decades. He started in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and then competed in the Masters.
It's a legendary picture I've seen on social media.
So that's impressive, man.
Yes, Padilla.
He was crazy. I used to have
the original Giant Killer.
The bodybuilding encyclopedia with all the old black and white photos, and I remember, Danny Padilla with like the little gym shorts. Picture I can see it in my head. His big chest. The guy was amazing.
Shots. Yes,
I mean, I don't know what he competed at, but at 5'2", it had to have been like 170, 100. He was amazing though.
Static.
All right. Let's see. Well, this is the last one, Dennis. This is for the win right here. All right. That's probably not the hardest one either, but we'll see if you can get it. All right. Out of these former sub 5'6" bodybuilders, Shaun Ray, John Sherman, Lee Priest, and Lee Labrada, who has the most IFBB professional wins? Shaun Ray, John Sherman. I don't know if you remember John.
I know John.
He's from Houston, man. He reminds me of similar bills.
Yeah, he lives out here.
He was good, man. Shaun Ray, John Sherman. It was before your time, so we'll let you make it on that one. Lee Priest and Lee Labrada. Who has the most IFBB wins?
I will go with Lee Labrada.
Lee Labrada? All right.
Yay!
Good. So Labrada actually had 8 wins, so he really went on a tear there. Of course, he had several seconds at the Mr. Olympia.
Shaun Ray was second.
Shaun Ray was second year. So Shaun's deal was once he qualified for Olympia, he would just do the Olympia.
Yeah,
year after year.
I noticed that. Yeah.
So Shaun only has 2 pro wins, and that was early in his career. He won the Arnold once, and then he won the Ironman. And then after that, he just did the Olympia every year.
It sucks they took the Ironman out.
Yeah.
That was sick contest, man. Oof.
Lee Priest had 3 pro wins, and John Sherman didn't ever win a pro show, but he was up there in several shows. I really liked his physique, man.
Yeah, John Sherman.
All right, Dennis, you won it. I was actually going to do some shirts saying I slayed the wolf, right, if we bid it, but, we'll give him another chance later on, but I didn't get the shirts made yet, so I'm off the hook, man. All right, well, I appreciate that. Thanks for entertaining me on that. That was how to have a little fun. That's going to actually wrap it up. We want to thank Keone for being our guest. Don't forget to check out Gasp and Better Bodies at gaspofficial.com, as well as Dennis' brand new website, nutritionwolf.com. Join us next time. Next week, we're going to have special guest Wesley Vissers join us to talk about his contest prep, just weeks out of the 2023 Arnold Classic. Also, keep an eye on the Instagram feeds as Gasp and Big Bad Bodybuilding. And Dennis and I, we're collaborating with Gasp on a special giveaway for the Arnold Classic. And we'll reveal that next week on what exactly that is. And we'll be doing posts on that. So until next time, thank you guys for watching.